Welcome back. Nigerians say they want to see, proper education for young people because they see that, as the basis of our development.
Have you been to River State?
No. So I'm asking you now.
Have you been to River State?
What's the plans of the APC at the federal level for revamping education?
Have you been to River State?
Not in a long time.
Please do go. You will see that everybody talks about our investment in education. It's quite huge. And you see, most people don't know that investment in education is not just about building structures. Turn this building into a wonderful, or turn this place into a wonderful classroom and all that. Does not convert to education. What converts to education is the policies you put in place, the curriculum, the quality of teachers, and then the environment. Now, what politicians do is they build classes or classrooms and they say, oh, we're developing education. No. This current government will deal holistically with what it takes to revamp education. It includes early child education. It will include
the
IT.
foundation.
Yes, that's what I'm saying now. It includes IT. For me, I think there's a need to amend the Constitution. The Constitution leaves primary education in the hand, both early child education and primary education, in the hands of the local government council. They have no resources, both in terms of material and human, and they don't have the administrative acumen to govern that part of education. And the foundation of education determines what you see at the superstructure. So you must let the federal government take over primary education. Just like I had to hit a deal with the council chairman to allow me to take over primary education in River State, and I did. Now, when you finish that, there is a need for the state government and the federal government to meet on how to deal with the secondary education and what happens at the tertiary level. Because it is the quality of education at the primary level that determines the quality of education at the secondary level, and vis-a-vis that of the tertiary level. I also think in the course of education that we need to deal with the issue of the 10 million or 10.something million Nigerians, the Nigerian children who are out of school, and they are mostly in the north. So if you ask me, I would say just like they set up an UNPADEC or NDDC in the south, they should set up a commission that will deal with education in the north.
The Almajiri schools, I take it, are not doing it for you.
No, they're not. They're not. Those are political tools. As far as I'm concerned, they're political tools. If you ask my idea would be, my idea, I'm not the Minister of Education, I'm not President-elect Buhari. My idea would be set up Quranic schools or build a structure for them, a mosque or whatever it takes for them to go to learn Quran or whatever they need to learn as Islam is concerned, and give them 2 hours to do that every day, and take them directly to the Western education school immediately after the 2 hours. Make sure that there's at least a day, one meal a day for them in that school. That will attract as many children as possible. That will attract as many children as possible. So you begin to educate them both in their Quran and in Western education. If you do this in 15, 20 years, you will not see Boko Haram. You will certainly not see Boko Haram. Because Boko Haram, most people make mistake and say Boko Haram is religious. It is religious to the extent that people don't know what the Quran says. If those children know what the Quran says, then they won't be carrying guns fighting.
One of the reasons that many Nigerians believe public schools have been allowed to deteriorate is because people in office do not actually utilize these schools to educate their children anymore, unlike in the past where, people went to public schools. So will the APC, commit to encouraging, members in its government to actually utilize public schools?
For me, if my children were at that age, I would have encouraged them to go to public school. Now, if you make the quality of education in public schools to be attractive, and when I use the word attractive, I'm talking about in terms of the quality of teachers, the quality of resources that you have in school, and the environment that you have in school, they will take their children to those schools because they know that the cost of education is lower in public schools than it is in private schools.
Yes.
And
but the point I wanted to make is that unlike the man in the private sector, the man in the public sector actually influences policy.
You don't get the point I make.
And so the question again is, if he knew his children would have to attend public schools, the chances are he'll pay more attention to repairing public education.
I'm saying that is not the solution, because most of those who become ministers, their children are out of those schools. They may have become either graduates or they're in the universities elsewhere. So if that policy will not solve the problem. What will solve the problem is a conscious effort by the president to overlook from time to time what happens in the education sector and ensure that there are policies that will put in place by experts that will govern that area. When they say, oh, Amaechi has made a lot of achievements in education, I didn't sit down one day to do that. I brought in experts, I listened to experts, and I made decisions. So in the same manner that those experts will be brought in, and by the way, what experts are you looking for that are not there? You have more experts at the federal level than you have at the state level.
What about health? Will the APC be encouraging its political office holders to patronize local hospitals? These are things that important Nigerians care about. Why are you laughing?
My first son had appendicitis. I was sitting with him when he told me that I have pain around here. So I said, it's excruciating and I don't know what to do. And I said, let's go and see a doctor. My wife didn't know. We didn't enter a car. He and I walked to Braithwaite Memorial Hospital. He and I.
Yes, that's you. But we know that generally people fly out for toothache.
If you listen.
If the party commits to staying and using public service.
It's not what the party promises that will make the change. What will make the change is what the government does. And that's why I'm trying to give you an example. That when we rebuilt Braithwaite Memorial Hospital, I didn't need to fly my first son to the UK for appendicitis. I walked into the hospital. The doctor saw him in my presence and said, this child has to go into the theater. I had the confidence that he would go to the theater and come out alive. He went to the theater. Yeah, my wife didn't know. He finished the surgery, took him to his room. I walked back to the government house and I called the mother. And I said, Judy, he said, yes, your son is at the hospital. I said, which hospital? I said, what is wrong? Accident? See, she assumed the only thing I can take my son to a hospital will be accident. If it's either that's ill health, it must be, probably I'm just assuming that was what was on her mind. Then the child must be flown overseas. But I knew that wasn't an accident. I made a conscious decision that he must be operated. I could have said, no, don't, there should be no surgery. This night you're traveling. Tomorrow morning you arrive in the UK and they see your doctor. I didn't do that. They finished surgery, wheeled him to his room. I walked back to, there are two decisions I took that was very funny. First, I walked back to the house and I told my wife. She went there. There was no police. There was no police standing in front of his door.
How long ago was this?
That must be like 5, 6 years ago.
Let us take a break. When we return, we speak state politics and ask Governor Amaechi how confident he is that his party, the APC, will win the governorship post in Rivers State, given their woeful performance in the state during the presidential polls. Don't go away.